it was like fireworks. It was like everything just exploded in me. Like I was asleep for like a long time. And finally I came to life when we kissed. And I didn't realize how like I was living before that moment. It's kind of crazy, you know, how you could become ignited by someone that just inspires you to come more deeper home into your body, into life, and to feel inspired and passionate about what really matters and creativity. And you just became my muse. You are my muse.
Oh.
So it's just been an incredible ride since that moment. 7 years later, whoa. And here we are, just like still with this firework display that, you know, new colors shoot off every year. And it's just like, wow, it's still amazing. And that's a testament to obviously our growth and commitment to each other and devotion, but also to the willingness to be wrong and to be able to pivot and shift and keep our core values together really strong and formalize that deeper and deeper every year. But that specific night was super pivotal for us because before that we were just friends.
Yeah.
Which is
for
super,
a long time.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
We double dated. We we talked about dating with each other before we even were together.
Yeah. I remember scrolling through your Tinder.
Oh God.
Giving you advice on who to date.
Yeah, which was wild. And like, of course, you know, I was attracted to you, duh. But that doesn't mean like we were other relationships. So we just honored that with each other and it was cool. And that actually made it easier for us to actually dive in and just be like totally honest without this like, you know, I have to perform or act or whatever.
Because we were already so comfortable.
We're already
with
so
each
chill
other.
with each other.
Yeah.
So when that kiss happened, it was more incredible than ever thought because we already had that established like, yeah, you know? So yeah, what was the evening like for you? Maybe explain the evening a little bit more for the viewers.
So it was summer 2018 and we were in Victoria where we live now, but we were visiting at the time. Yeah. And I had a aerial performance gig at this venue where a bunch of my friends were playing and I was performing with Catalyst, who was the dance crew that I was with at the time. And yeah, I was just having a great time and we were dancing and I was on stage and then I was dancing with you and then I was back on stage and then we were just surrounded by like lots of our best friends and just it just felt like there was magic in the air that night.
There was magic in the air. I remember stepping into the venue being like, whoa. And it's interesting, like, I'm not sure if you guys have felt this, like before something really big happens, you can really feel the butterflies start to happen and it feels a little bit like, what? Like, is this like anxiety? Is this stoke? Like, what is going on? It's like we know before it happens. Yeah. Sometimes when something big's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And the show was called Shine.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was June 14th, 2018. And then 3 years later that we did our own event called Shine?
Yeah, interesting.
It was 18, 19, 20.
Didn't plan that name.
Oh, no, it was like 6 years later.
6 years later.
Yeah. Anyways, that was just an interesting thing to note that who would have thought that 6 years later you and I would put on an event also called Shine. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty magical. And then at one point, I remember sitting with you, we were watching all the fire dancers and everyone was just in a vibe. It was just such a vibe. I remember we were sitting cuddling, not just us, but like all of our friends, we were sitting cuddling and watching all the dancers and you were sitting behind me with like your arms and legs wrapped around me, totally platonic in the moment. Like we were just cuddling as friends.
The energy was building.
But we had been dancing like throughout the night.
Yeah.
And then I remember we just both had a moment of like timelessness. It just felt like
very deeply.
There was this one moment where I just felt you, like I had felt you in my life for so long as like such an unconditional loving support as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And in that one moment with your arms and legs wrapped around me and just like in such bliss, feeling so expanded and fulfilled and creatively nourished, which I've always felt with you. You've always made me feel so creatively nourished.
Same, yeah, vice versa.
And it felt like I was appreciating you so much for being in my life and for everything that you've brought into my world. And yeah, I remember looking back at you and just like to take in the experience. It was more like just to be like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? Kind of thing. Like, and as soon as like we locked eyes, it was like
it was over. Yeah,
we just both leaned in for a kiss, and and it wasn't even like a thought.
It was automatic.
It wasn't even.
It was like the spirit to control. It was just like happening. Like as if our hearts, which they are magnetic, just went whoop, and we went whoa in, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and I remember like a minute later, I was like, what? Wait, what? Like my mind came into it was like, what are we doing? What is this?
This was
like,
interesting because we looked over at our friends who very much were like looking at us as only friends.
And everyone was like looking over at us like
that when they saw it was like it was a shakeup to reality itself for everybody, including us, of course. So that was really fun.
It was just an unexpected moment, but it felt so natural. It felt so like meant to be. And it wasn't, there was no fighting it at that point. It just felt like my mind can say all these stories, but my body and my heart feels what it feels, and it's gonna.
And I'm glad that we were both open enough in the moment to trust that.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of awkward when one person feels it, but doesn't feel the other person not feeling it, and the other person's like, what? And it disrupts the friendship to such a degree where sometimes it doesn't survive. Yeah. So it was a risk. It was courage on our part to just be like, let's do it. And that particular night, we were like going for each other. Okay, we're back. We just got a quick phone call from a friend. Oops. All right, back to it. Yeah. Again, that was an incredibly amazing evening of creativity, of aliveness, of just like, whoa. And honestly, a uniting of our worlds, because my background was in, the fine arts, in lots of painting, in dancing, in lots of theater expression. And Ella's background was in the performing arts and in festival culture and acro yoga and movement and yoga, and like it definitely, like, the worlds, it made sense why we're friends. Like, those worlds are very symbiotic as it is. Our already electric energy in our body, our creativity was already aligned. It made sense that our sexual energy as well and our soulful energy, which is all connected to the creativity, would be aligned as well. It's just that we hadn't made that move to be able to feel it. Although we knew that, of course, that makes sense. That's why we're even friends. So when that came together, it was just like, what? And again, like, we were still shocked. Like, we were shocked for like a while. Like, I was like intimate with you, and like while we were connected, I was like, what is actually happening? And so it took a minute to adjust, but it was really amazing. But then there was like the old voice, the old pattern that was like, I don't want to fuck this up. So like, should we just play this safe? Should we like not label this? Should we just keep this open right now? Because I don't want to hurt you. You don't want to hurt me. Let's just make this as like friends. But then we're just friends with benefits. And like, now we're back to that situation of like, we're really going to hurt each other eventually, just because we're not claiming something here. We're keeping it super open-ended. But there is a way to do it artfully, but inevitably somebody's going to be like, I'm really feeling something. And that's inevitably, again, what did happen, is that I really put my foot in the ground and I was like, look, like, this is what's up. This is how I feel. Take it or leave it. I'm still going to be your friend no matter what, but I need to claim this. And that ended up being a really important moment too. So there are pivotal moments when you can like really connect with each other and speak your truth. And then those are really amazing moments, and like we've lived those experiences with other people and each other enough to be like, boom, and express it on this channel, why that matters.
Yeah.
And it's taught me, this relationship has taught me so much about clear communication and about being consistent with that and showing up no matter how you are and just speaking it and just saying what's up. You can't lose on that. That's such an important thing to do. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's what happened, is we both were in that space of like, well, what does this mean? And how do we transition from being friends for years into a loving partnership, and what does that look like? And I was not ready at the time. I wasn't in a place where I could just dive into a new relationship, especially with someone who I was so scared I would ruin the friendship, because that had been the pattern with so many of my ex-partners, where like I wanted to be friends, and it was like it was like a clean break where it was just there's nothing left. And that was my biggest fear. I was like, I just didn't want to ever sacrifice the solid foundation that we had built, because it was so important to me, and you were one of the most important people in my life at the time, just as a friend. And I knew that the stakes were so high. To risk that felt like the biggest edge to like just jump off and land on a feather bed, which is also what happened.
Which is totally fair. And then for how I am, I'm really like, whoa, this is amazing. I'm in full fucking devotion mode. Like I know what I want, and I want it. And let's do this. And like, we can create the best life ever. Like, I was really quick to that because I know what's real. I know what's true. It's not that you didn't, it's just that you were seeing it from a different angle, and you've already experienced so much pain and loss in your past relationships. It's not like I haven't, but we came at it from two different sides of the coin, both honoring each other, but I definitely came in at it really hot and heavy, really excited. And it really took me to a place of like, hey, I'm good no matter what. Like, are you? But then, yes, I am. Okay, you're good no matter what. Take a deep breath, be patient. If it's real, it'll show itself to her in her own way. And, you know, if it isn't something that she doesn't want, then that's okay. And you're good. But again, that was a journey for me, because I'm like, I've easily attached myself to relationships. You know, it's easy to do that with your self-esteem. It's like, hey, this is my girl, this is what's up, life. And it's like, be proud and everything like that, but don't like put your whole esteem on it, or your value. And so it taught me, like, am I doing that? Am I not? Like, I got to check in with myself, like, how are we doing? It allowed me to get better at communicating with, like, where are you at with this? Where am I at with this? Like, in all honesty, like, and it was really raw. It was hard to hear you be like, no, like, I'm down to like connect and like be like really close with each other and like have intimate moments, but like I'm not ready for like a relationship. Until eventually for me, it was like, well, I can't just be intimate and friends. Like I that's hard for me to compartmentalize, honestly. Like it's like the moment I'm intimate with you, I'm with you. Like I'm so with you. And then to move that into just purely friendship after was difficult. Wasn't like impossible, because we already had that established sense of friendship so deeply, but it became more and more difficult the more that I actually became more intertwined with you, the more that I felt you more deeply in my soul. And then I had to respect myself enough to be like, well, I can't just like let you into my heart and soul if I don't like claim you and claim, like, do this. I wouldn't be a man if I didn't actually like do that. Otherwise, I'm just freely giving myself away without knowing like where we're going. And like I need to know just for like the sake of like what's happening here. And again, that happened over time. It was at our own pace.
Well, it took 2 years.
Yeah. And like we were like so closely enmeshed. Even we were in a relationship without the ability to like just be like, yeah, we're doing it. And so I noticed a lot of fear in you, for sure, because of the pain in your past. And for me too, like to be like, to go from this place of just like so much desire and so much choice, like very like outgoing, charismatic men have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I knew I had opportunity. I was a creatively alive man, but it was really big for me to realize that in the moment of choosing someone, you actually become more free than ever. Because there's such a flowering effect because of the depth that you can go down into the root of the soil. The greatest blooming of color and vibrancy of love ever can come from that nutrients, from the depth of that soil, versus just like planting a little bit of seeds and kind of being like whatever, and then like not really growing a garden. Like I knew that if I was really going to start growing a garden with you, there had to be that level of like committing to go down to the shadows of our fear, of our pain, and then from there be able to like bring the gold nutrients up and like enliven us further into what we could truly bring to the planet. Because I knew that it wasn't just you and me like enjoying our time. It's like we had some sort of like really deep, I would call it like a contract, or like something where it's like we're choosing each other for a bigger reason than just us.
Yeah.
And we're here to make a big impact on the planet in our own way. And boom, we did. The moment we actually committed to each other, all of a sudden we started creating events and we started like seeing creative ways that we could impact and serve the community. And this is ever growing now. And we've made our mark. And that's been a lot of fun, you know? And we've been tested, but we've been able to be resilient and to know what works, what doesn't work. And we keep sharpening each other. We keep like defining how to improve each other. We see each other in that without judgment. And that's shown me that this is true unconditional love. You know?
Yeah. Well, you showed me that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And the fact that you continued to show me that was the biggest piece for me that showed me that it was worth taking that risk. Because you didn't give up on me. You didn't walk away.
Yeah.
I thought that if I continued to say no to you, which I did for 2 years, that you would just give up and either say, well, I'm tired and I don't want to be friends anymore, which would just validate my fear. And
Right.
yeah, and it would have shown me that I couldn't trust. But the fact that you, even though it was like rejection, ultimately, even though I didn't, like deep down I didn't want to reject you, I was just pushing you away to protect my freedom, what I thought was my freedom, because I didn't want to be in a relationship. I wanted to be single. I wanted to be on my own solo journey, and I didn't want to just dive right into another relationship because I knew that I had so much that I needed to heal within myself, and I didn't think that I could do that with a partner. I thought that I had to do that on my own.
That's right.
And in some cases, that could be true. And I did do a lot of healing in those 2 years.
Yeah, big time.
The fact that you had the patience and you stuck it out and you didn't give up and you continued to face the fire of being rejected and continued to be friends with me.
Yeah.
Most guys would not have that kind of patience to say, well, I'm just going to like continue loving you and supporting you and unconditionally
no matter what,
being there for you.
Well, still respecting
as a
myself
friend,
at the same time.
Even though you knew that I was like your soulmate. And I deep down felt it, but I wasn't willing to admit it to myself because it's not what I was wanting at the time.
Yeah, this is interesting that you bring this up because I know this sounds really trippy and kind of maybe like how could this be? But I knew that. Yeah. So like it's trippy, like it's really surreal for me because I have a great ability to feel other people. So I mean we all do, but like I've just grown up with this like it seems like almost like an extra sense where I can just really tap myself into the person, into myself, and create moments. And so I knew that you were in fear. I knew that you were hurting. And I knew that, you know, honestly, just like the best option was to be able to just like be love with you and like still respect myself, still state what I need and things like that. Of course, like always communicate that, but just be like, oh, you're saying one thing, but literally your body language, the way that you're breathing, the way that you're moving, the way that you like feel within yourself, and the way that things are like rhythmically like flowing and patterning within us, says another. And so that's why I was always checking in to see how you're doing and like dropping in. And it became a really important thing because I was creating trust and safety. So maybe on a level that, well, definitely on a level that you never received before from a man. So I knew from there, we were either going to go hyper deep into our friendship, or we're going to like break and catalyze something within our relationship that you've never experienced before in a way that I've never experienced with another woman. And it's going to completely expand our perception of what love is with each other. Because if it's going to be that epic, it's going to be able to like, it's going to shake us up. If it's real love, it's going to shake us up from what we believe love is and our perceptions of how we express love with another.
Yeah.
And it did. And we even I actually did an art therapy experience with Ella.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This was interesting. This was like maybe like 3 months after that first kiss.
Yeah, I remember it was like near the end of summer.
Yeah, and I was studying like art therapy in university. And so I was like, well, this is a great opportunity for me. So, and for you to be able to like, you gathered all of your like pictures and writings, love notes from like a past love. And we put it onto a canvas. I was just like, you do you. And you just started like gluing it and painting it. You were feeling it was a bit like tense. Like you're like, oh, this is kind of surreal. Like I just felt like you weren't dropping into it quite yet because it was kind of weird. Like this new love is like making me make an art piece out of this like past love. Like that's kind of weird. And then we went outside like, what? Like,
well, art therapy is weird.
And it was surreal for me because I was like, well, like it was a real love and in its own way. And so honor it. And so that was a way of honoring it. But I was like, actually, I got a surprise for you. And then we went outside in the backyard and I created a fire. And it was just like, you have unexpressed anger about that past relationship. I'm just going to be here as a witness of this anger. You can be as loud as you fucking want. Doesn't matter, honestly. I'll deal with the neighbors if I have to. You just do you. And like, here's an axe. My God, I'll step away for a second. But here's an axe. And you like smash the shit out of that. And you claim your power. And you come back to yourself. Don't like tether this energy off into another thing. Also, if we're going to be like intimate, connected, like let's sever old ties. And let's start this energy really fresh. And then you did. And it was... I've never seen you express so raw. Like you had like anger, you had intensity in you, right? And so you were like, fuck this guy. It was so funny. I was like, if you guys were there, it was like, wow, this woman. And I was like, awesome, you know? And as you did, that's when the grief finally had opportunity to come up. It was like it was being stuffed. And I could tell like you were, even like your ability to express with me was a bit like, like it wasn't fully because of that. And so this was like released a valve and your grief came up. And then as you were putting these like shattered pieces of this art piece of your past love, very symbolic, you were slowly putting it into the fire. And that's when the tears welled up. And that's when it got emotional. And I just kind of gave you your space and gave you the moment to look in the fire and see like the pictures disintegrate. And then you came up to me and I just embraced you and you just sobbed in my arms. And that was a really beautiful moment where, you know, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. We can create this for each other. And these are moments of letting go, of finding peace. And it's instead of me being like, look, I could tell you're really hung up on your ex, or I could tell you have like some like, you know, some pain about it. You just need to get over it. Like, come on, like move on. Like that's not allowing you the ability to actually do it. That's just like telling you what to do. And in fact, it's bypassing your experience. Yeah. So for you to be able to like cathartically, physically do that and burn it was, for me anyways, it was such a big experience to witness. And it taught me so much about what we hold on to, whether it's love or like, well, love comes in many ways, but like, you know, family or relationship or like our relationship with our old selves and like all these things come up in those moments. There's so many versions of us that we're shedding all the damn time. So, yeah. Yeah,
that was a very pivotal night. I remember everything was different after that.
Yeah.
And it goes to show the power of, well, art therapy, but also just making the decision to choose a different path and to release all the density. Like there's always sadness under anger, because the emotional scale, you need to experience your anger before you can experience your sadness fully. And the only way through an emotion is to actually like somatically experience that and let it go. Because if you aren't willing to actually physically and spiritually accept and like face those densities, then they're always going to be there. It's like the only way out is through, and the only way to move through those emotions is to experience them.
Yeah, and when we say like densities and things like that, we just mean like built up residue of emotion that like it actually physically, scientifically stores in the body, and it impacts our health. Like literally, it could come into being as like MS or dementia or Alzheimer's, like things like that come up because of that.
Every illness has an emotional root cause.
That was suppressed, or
everything comes from our emotions.
Yeah, and like it's interesting, like we both really knew that. We're both already really aware of that by the time we were with each other, that we were able to like, that's why we checked in so much, because we were always wanting to like release it. Anger is not a bad thing. It's just our intention on where we move it. And if we just move it onto another person unconsciously, then that's abuse. But if we do it in a way that's like tailored, like for instance, you like chopping and destroying the art piece, which wasn't on anyone, it was on the literal like symbology of the relationship, and just like being like, fucking let it go, like okay, that was really, really important for the psyche. So as we close this this recording, I just really want to say I'm really proud of us for really choosing each other every single day, and seeing each other in such a beautiful way, and holding ourselves to that. Even when things are getting really rough and really tough in life, if they ever do, we still hold each other at that high level, and be able to honor each other in that is such a breathtaking experience. And I'm so grateful for it every damn day. And I'm so excited to marry you and just have you in my life forever, like without a doubt. So that's pretty fucking awesome. And it all starts with the daring to have that first kiss. And then just following that. And there's going to be feelings of like, whoa, because like when a love is that powerful and that huge and that like world changing beyond you, it's like, whoa, it's like a lot to feel. But incrementally making sure each other feels safe in that, really dropping in with that, allows for the structure for it to actually start to grow. And it has, like epically, every single year. Like I can't even imagine where it's going to be at when we're like 60. It's going to be like, oh my God, you're alive. We're here with each other. Oh my God, like in such enrapturous ways. And this love is an inspiration.
It is.
So thank you.
Yeah, you inspire me every day, every moment. Thank you.
And thank you for enjoying this intimate experience with us. And please, like, if this resonated with you, if you felt anything from this, if you felt inspired by this, if you are like, wow, this could happen for me, or yeah, me too, like I get you, please like, comment, subscribe. This has been a really beautiful like visual soundboard experience for us to express about what's alive for us. And relationship it is for all of us, but it has been such a huge like wellspring of growth, like the opportunity for nourishment on so many different levels, from daring to face these things and talk about it, changes everything in your life. So thank you guys for showing up, for clicking on this video. You are showing up to your heart. You're showing up to what you deserve. You're showing up to the future you that you know is possible, that is like, like real love is real. It exists. And if you believe it to be so, it will be, I swear, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to be willing to do the healing and to trust that it's possible to manifest the love that you deserve, because you do. You deserve it.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Love you guys.
We all do.
Comment what was alive for you in the video, and we would love to hear. Okay.
Yeah. And tell us what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, we want to know.